How's everyone doing, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, hope everyone's having a great day. These sweltering hot days and that, I fucking hate it, me. Honest to God, absolutely hate that heat. Right, guys, I'm going to do a video today about Donal Macintyre helping me. He fucking, literally got me off with charges, pretty much. He did and he didn't. He put me in contact with people that, there was nowhere. I was being stitched up. For those that don't know, yeah, back in 2014, I've done previous videos on this. I was arrested alongside a Manchester gangster in connection with a witness intimidation charge, right? But these charges were malicious, right? Some people that we used to be friends with, right? Some muppets from Stretford, right? Were police informers, right? We're on the police's pay band, on the payroll, right? There's on the police protection, CCTV outside their house. They was alleging that we was threatening them, right? When it wasn't the case at all. They was actually ringing us and threatening us. Now, we weren't stupid. We know that they had the recording devices on the phones and stuff, right? So I'd have to keep my mouth shut, right? And what happened was they rang the police, alleged that I rang them for 20 seconds to a fake Irish accent, rang them and threatened them, right? They was putting shit about me on fucking online. They were slagging me off. And it was, they're saying they were scared, but then they was threatening us online and stuff, right? And making threats towards us, right? Which obviously I would have had it with any single one of them, right? But like I say, you're dealing with police informers, guys, so you can't do anything, can you? Because if you do, you're fucked. Well, they made this allegation that I rang them through fake Irish accent for 20 seconds with no corroborating evidence, no supporting evidence. The phone box that the call was allegedly made from was forensically and DNA and forensically linked, examined. Sorry, no evidence was found because it didn't happen. Right, I ended up remanded in prison. Now I was kicking off with my barrister saying, look, fucking, this is a stitch up, right? They've been writing shit about me online, right? They put my old address online, and I said, what the fuck's going on? I said, and I'm in prison. I said, how does that work? And my barrister said, look, he said they're in with the police and stuff. He said, there's nothing you can do. And I was like, what the fuck, right? So I was on remand, yeah. Me and me Cody, well-known gangster from Manchester, landed at Strangeways, right? I went to all the magistrates on a different matter and ended up in Forest Bank, right? Anyway, fast forward, eventually I get bail, right? Because the judge knew there was no evidence and said, look, why is this kid in prison? So I got bail, right? And I spoke to my legal team and I said to them, I said, look, I said, you've got to do, I said, they said, well, these Twitter accounts are anonymous. And I said, well, this Twitter and these Twitter pages and Facebook posts, right, were anonymous. I said, well, do your investigation, get to the bottom of it. He said, we've spoken to our IT guy and he doesn't have the ability to do that. It's quite intelligent. You need to there's certain things that you need and he hasn't got them and he can't do them. It's basic, right? And he said any online investigation would cost you thousands, right? And he said, like he said, our computer guy can't do it. So I thought, fucking hell. So I rang, for those that don't know, Donal Macintyre is an investigative journalist. He used to stitch people up, which I didn't approve of, but he doesn't do that anymore. He went under, for those that don't know, or those that know, he went undercover with the Chelsea Headhunters and got Jason Mariner and all them lads put away years ago. Like I say, I don't agree with. Eventually they caught up with him and ended up attacking him and his missus, former missus, in a wine bar in Chelsea, I believe, back in the day. But anyway, I spoke to Donal, right? And I said to Donal, I said, listen, I said, they've got me by the bollocks here. I said, I've done nothing wrong. I said, my barrister's telling me that this is going to go to trial, right? I put an application to dismiss, right? An application to dismiss is where, you know, the allegations against you are false and you're trying to get out of the case going to trial. It was the last chance I had of the case going to trial. But my barrister said, before you've got to put anything in, you've got to get something. So I spoke to Donal Macintyre at length. Donal said, he said, we've got a company that we use. He said, I know you. He said, I can't do it because it's not impartial. Because obviously Donal Macintyre knew me and my Cody, right? So I said, right. I said, Donal, I said, well, what do you suggest? I said, I'm said, there's no evidence against me, right? But my barrister's telling me that if this goes to trial, it's just who the jury believe on the day. That's the stage that I was getting to. And Donal put me in contact with a company called 90digital.com because the allegations against me were false, right? I'd done nothing wrong. And this 90digital.com were the best at what they do in online investigations and stuff. They've got former Scotland Yard computer analysis, computer forensic people, right, that now work for them, that have obviously retired from the police and work for this company, right? So I contacted the company independently of my own and spoken to a guy called Nick Gardner, right, who was I think he's one of the directors of the company, and I said, look, I can't deal with you, because I said, you've got to go through my legal team to make it above and legit. It was all above board, but I couldn't deal with him. He had to speak to my legal team because they had to be like communications backwards and forwards and stuff. They settled on a price. I think the price they tried to quote was about $4,000. Legal aid, right, wouldn't cover that. So legal aid, I think, give me 1,500 quid or $1,000 or something. So I was desperately begging this Nick Gardner. I was on his case a lot, right? And he accepted the offer and he did the work. And a former Scotland Yard detective called Andy Crocker, this guy is the best at what he does in online investigations. What I had to prove was that these allegations, right, on these online fucking things that were being put about me and my Cody, right, that were malicious, right, I had to prove who was behind them, right? So what 90 Digital would do, they was commissioned to do an online investigation, right? And that's exactly what they did. And they used this former Scotland Yard detective. This company are the best. If you ever need an online investigation, guys, right, go through 90digital.com. They are the best at what they do. And like I said, I could have ended up going to prison on false allegations, right, with malicious lies, right? And they use things like, there's a thing like facilities. These are the online investigation. This is what they did. RAID, real-time alert investigation discovery, is an open source and open media investigative tool. TinEye is a reverse image search engine which allows users to link photographs and avatars across the web. Copyscape is a plagiarism content tool that checks for duplicate online pages and content across the web, and including Twitter and Facebook. 192, an online address and search tool. Swarm, an investigative tool for the dark web, right? And because it was, and they also spoke to SF International, which are a specialist to do with Irish republicanism and gangland associations, right? And like I say, guys, this online investigation, that online investigation there, right, which I'm still in possession of, what we did then, we applied for an application to dismiss. For those who don't know, an application to dismiss, like I said, it's for you to get the charges against you dropped because there's weak or vague or next to no evidence, right? And like I say, this played a big part. So we applied for it. My barrister said, listen, this judge is a recorder. For those that don't know, recorded judge is a judge that only sits 6 weeks of the year, right? They're sort of retired judges. He said they do it by the book and they'll send this, they'll just move forward to trial. They didn't. They actually listened to us and they ordered the police to do an investigation into these. They ordered the police because the police were covering up stuff because they wanted to send me and my Cody to prison for a very long time for witness intimidation charge. I think it's up to 10 years for witness intimidation. Originally it was threats to kill, then it was witness intimidation, blah blah blah, right? But like I say, these online accounts that were to do with these police informing scumbags, right, they was hiding behind them and stuff, and they was like, oh well, anyone can set up an account as anyone else. So I was like, right. So I had to think on my feet, yeah. And this is like why I said I contacted Donal Macintyre. Donal put me in contact with this company. And this company, guys, right, we went for the application to dismiss. The judge ordered the police to do work, right? The police didn't want to. Then we stuck this in, right? This online investigation. And the shortly after, right, it was adjourned, right? Surprise, surprise, on the back of this online investigation, which was boxing the police into the corner because the police would have ended up being fucked over, and these malicious lies, right? This malicious allegation against me and my Cody of threats and everything, right, was bollocks, right? And I boxed very clever, guys. I was receiving threats online, which I didn't respond to, right? I kept my mouth shut. I didn't go near the house, their house or anything, because I knew there was CCTV and everything, and they was under police protection, right? I knew they had recording devices on the phones, right? I recorded them threatening me. I got this online investigation done through, obviously, Donal Macintyre, pointing me in the right direction. And you know what, guys? My solicitor rang me up and said, right, he said, sit down. I said, go on. He said, good news. He said, the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, and the police decided to drop their allegation. So I then wanted to attack the police and the CPS. And he said it'll never come to light what they know, because they're sweeping it under the rug. They're dropping the charges against you. That's a good thing. I said, right, well, I want all the coppers involved. I said, striking off. I said, I want their badges, right? And I said, they're all scumbags. And I said, they facilitated lies against me, and I've ended up in prison, and could have ended up doing years in prison because of malicious lies. And he just said, look, he said, you're going to have to accept the fact that the online investigations got you off. And then because I was acquitted on these witness intimidation charges, right, it then put a big hole in my Cody's case, right? Like I say, if I would have left it up to my legal team, we can't do anything. Many people would have just thought, all right, well, it is what it is. I've just got to go to trial. And like I say, on the trial, all it is, it's who the jury believe on the day, right? I didn't want to leave it down to that, because like I said, the person that I was involved with is a very recognisable person, and I knew I was guilty by association, right? And we would have ended up doing years in prison. So like I say, the fact that my charges got dropped, right, and this online investigation cleared me, it put a big fucking massive hole in my Cody's case as well, proving it was malicious and stuff. Eventually he got off with his as well. So like I say, it was all good. But if it wasn't for Donal Macintyre, guys, honestly, I could have gone forward to trial. And if the jury would have believed these police informing scumbags version of events, right, that would have been it. I would have been in prison for a very, very long time. So Donal Macintyre actually helped me massively. And 90digital.com, I can't speak highly enough of them. If you're in a position, right, where you're on false allegations, right, and you need an online investigation to prove malicious lies about you or threats made towards you or anything like that, then 90digital.com, guys, can get to the bottom of it all day, every day. It located their addresses, who they were as people, all these things, guys, right? And like I say, I can't speak highly enough of 90digital.com. If it wasn't for that online investigation, I would have gone forward for trial, and I could have been found guilty, guys, on malicious lies. So like I say, people might think, well, there's no evidence, how can you go to prison? Police stitch up, guys, big thing. It goes on. I know the police are supposed to be whiter than white, but they're fucking not, guys. Police are stitch up merchants, and they wanted me and my Cody off the streets, right? Like I say, I was guilty by association. But like I say, this online investigation, guys, which I boxed clever to, I got all off my own back. Like I say, I spoke to Donal, but if I could have just sat there and just took what my legal team was saying. But like I said, I spoke to Donal and thought, right, there's got to be something. And like I say, Donal's an investigative journalist, so I thought if anyone can get to the bottom of something, Donal can. But Donal couldn't do it directly, so he had to put me in contact with this company, and this company sorted me out. And like I say, they got me off the up, guys. Like I was in prison for a couple of months on remand. It's a minor though, when you but like I say, just because of a stitch up, it's like me ringing up saying that you have threatened me for 20 seconds for a fake Irish accent with no evidence or nothing, and you fuck off, go to prison. That's what happened to me, guys, straight up, no lies. And like I say, this online investigation got me off, and I can't speak highly enough for Donal Macintyre. This was years ago now, it was like 3 years ago, but I can't speak highly enough for Donal Macintyre for helping me, and also 90digital.com. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Speak to you all soon. Bye.